Alright, ladies and gents, let's have a little chat about this. Okay, so Beast Games, very controversial. Could a YouTuber possibly make something that is actually decent? I'm gonna say yes. See, here's the thing, I don't watch much reality show. If Love Island or something is on, the missus is probably watching it, she'll get me to come and sit down and watch it with her, which is fine. I don't mind it, it's intriguing and it's fun. It's cool seeing how people react to certain situations. Beast Games, for me, as somebody who occasionally watches a MrBeast video, I'm not like a die-hard fan, but I'll watch it if I got half hour, or well, most of his videos are like an hour long now, which is kind of annoying. But in general, I like the idea of a MrBeast show with a super high budget and big stakes and big rewards, and I really feel like he pulled this one off. Like, there are some big expectations here. A YouTuber getting a first show with, God knows what the budget was, probably 80 million plus, 50 million, 80 million, something like that, and it's insane to see what he's been able to do with it. So the hardest thing about making a reality show is, can you connect with the characters? Can you build a relationship with these people who are just coming on the show to try and win some money or compete in something? And yes, I feel like they did that pretty well. The first couple of episodes, it's more just, who is MrBeast? Who is this guy on YouTube who's now coming over and being given millions and millions of dollars to make his own show? But once you get past that and you start getting a little bit further away from the YouTube stuff, which, that's my bread and butter, as it turns into a TV show and you start spending more time with the characters, they enter Beast City, which I think was a little bit underwhelming. We didn't really see much of them there. We see some like behind the scenes stuff every now and then, but they all go and live there and they do their thing, and we kind of build a bit of a relationship. But as the episodes progress, things do get better and you do understand more about these characters and their wants and their needs. And this guy's got a kid that's ill and that's why he needs the money. This one wants to try and help a bunch of people in the world, and that's great. They all need the money, but it's a case of how do we pick a winner here? And like I said, after episode 3, you really do start developing an understanding of these characters, these people who are competing for money. And it's really great to see that MrBeast is focusing on story and character development and things like that. And I think that's definitely something he's been focusing on with YouTube over the past year. And to see that experience then translate into a massive high budget show, that's great. A couple of things I felt underwhelmed with. I don't want to say they were bad, but it's the challenges. Like, nothing ever felt threatening enough. Like, they're pulling a monster truck, or they're making decisions, or they're throwing basketballs and stuff like that, and that's cool to see. But if you're competing for $5 million, or the actual grand prize, which I'm not going to spoil, but there's a big twist at the end, you want to feel like it's a life and death situation. Even the way that MrBeast like phrases some things, and in some behind the scenes YouTube videos, you see him want to not exaggerate, but make it seem scary, like people are actually risking a lot of things for this show. I never really felt that. I never really felt like, oh my god, this guy's in danger, or this is actually physically challenging. We don't. You're ruining my set. This one isn't worth millions of dollars. But outside of that, it was a really fun show. And like I said, you do get to grips with the characters and the challenges do get better as time goes on, but it never felt like there was a lot at stake outside of just the money. There's also a couple of other things that annoyed me throughout the show, like the fact that Jimmy, MrBeast, keeps reiterating the fact that it's $5 million. And I get why you do that. You want to captivate the audience. You want to bring it back in and get them engaged. But the biggest prize in entertainment history, $5 million. I get it. I understand why you're doing it. I'm a 30-year-old dude. I get that maybe I'm not the target demographic for this, but I don't need to be told every couple of seconds that there's a shit ton of money at stake. I felt on multiple occasions that it didn't feel like an authentic thing for Jimmy to do. It felt like he had a little devil in his ear that was telling him, you have to capture the audience. It wasn't just him talking to these other human beings. He was a presenter, and I get that's the role, but it just felt so unauthentic at points. Like he was given a script and he's just got to keep reiterating the same thing again and again. And then if I'm being really nitpicky, it's Beast City, just because I felt like they could have done so much more with that and made it feel like more of a city, or at least used it as an opportunity to really engage with the characters. But I felt like it was kind of ignored. Like, you go to the city, they do an announcement, maybe a couple of challenges on the big skyscraper looking thing, and then that's it. You go somewhere else. There's no passage of time. I felt as a viewer they were only there for a week, if that. They were just skipping through all these challenges, earning a bit of money along the way, competing and doing their thing, and then they were in the finals. But I think they were there for like multiple weeks, if not like a month. I didn't get that. I didn't get any sense of time or passing or Like you see them have like one meal over the course of this month or whatever it is that they were actually in this city for. You don't see huge upsides of living in this city. What kind of meals were they having? How were they interacting with each other? What social events were they given? Even if this was presented in like a behind the scenes documentary of them making the show, I would be down for that because I can get a better understanding of what the benefits of the city are outside of, you're working your way through the competition. There wasn't any of that. But the final 3 episodes, I want to say, maybe 4 episodes, they were so good from just a reality TV standpoint where there are stakes, there's a lot of money, there's people that are competing, and you get the good characters and the villains, and you can see like they've orchestrated not the whole thing in the sense of like they've scripted it, but they know who's a troublemaker and they know who's a good person, and they play them off at each other, which I think is pretty cool. Again, this is another thing that annoys me, and I know I'm going back and forth between positive and negative points, but it's like Jimmy really does try to play devil's advocate, and he's like, oh wait, no, you just screwed her over. How are you going to react to this? And you can tell he's trying to get the reaction for TV, but that isn't Jimmy. That isn't MrBeast. MrBeast is the guy that raises millions of dollars for philanthropy and things like that. And there is a business element to it and a showbiz thing. But I don't feel like him going up to somebody saying, oh, they've just screwed you over. You should do it back. You should be the bad guy now. That's not Jimmy. That's showbiz Jimmy. That's him as a character. Fine. You're presenting an unauthentic version of yourself to be able to get views and be this character to people who don't know you. But the majority of people who are watching this video do. But yeah, the last couple of episodes are really good from the standpoint of reality TV, the big budgets, and then there's a big twist in like the episode 9 and 10, which plays around with the winnings, the earnings, the $5 million. And I'm not gonna spoil it. I'm pretty sure if you just looked at the titles for the episodes, you'd be able to get that spoiler for yourselves, but it's a big change. It's a big step up, and my God, it put some things on the line. And in episode 9 and 10, you want each of these characters to win. You are attached to all of them, which I think was the goal for this series. There's not a single person on that lineup. There's a couple of like villains or whatever, but they all have their own reasons and personalities. There's nobody there that you don't want to win the money. So when the winner is actually decided, I think it's the right person because of what they have going on in their lives. But at the same time, it's like, it's so intense and it's so dramatic, and my God, it felt, is this how people feel watching Love Island? Because I don't really get that, but I felt like, you can't choose. It's an impossible decision. Now, I hope that there is a second season of Beast Games, not necessarily because I want this whole thing to continue and to grow and whatever, because honestly, I don't know how we're going to be able to beat the prize money, the amount of people, the scale of everything that happened in Beast Games Season 1. I want to see the city develop. I want to see the challenges get better. I want to see more risks. If there's like $20 million in Season 2 on the line, I don't want to see people throwing basketballs into hoops for the final challenge. I want to see people actually like working their asses off and trying to survive. And I get there's probably rules and restrictions, and we have other reality shows that put people in positions where it's life risking. And I feel like if you're going to give the biggest grand prize in history, now's probably the best time to try and do that. It's also worth noting there's a bunch of controversy around Beast Games, and I don't care for it, to be honest. I think that if you have 1,000 people, 2,000 people working towards some kind of competitive prize and they miss out, people are going to be upset. Managing that many people, you're going to make mistakes and you're going to learn from those mistakes. If there's a second season, I'm sure a lot of the things that went wrong will be fixed. The thing is, nobody has done something like this before. Definitely not a YouTuber. I get that Jimmy had a whole production team, but again, on this scale, I don't think it's been done before, not for a reality show. So you really have to try to manage those expectations and think, okay, well, some stuff may go wrong. That sucks, but that's life, man. You just got to suck it up. You got to deal with it. If you're going to be a competitor and you're going to put yourself in harm's way trying to do these competitions, then something may go wrong. And I don't know all the ins and outs of it. I don't know every single individual case that's been popping up on social media, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I think that Jimmy made a good show. I want to see him be more authentic and real to himself and to his audience. Stop focusing so much on the showbiz and just be you, because that's what people have subscribed to you for. That's what people have been following you for, because you're a fucking good person. Just keep it real, but at the same time, keep it interesting. But anyway, that's all for now. Let me know what you think of Beast Games. I'm very intrigued to hear your thoughts and a possibility of a second season. I love your faces, you're amazing, you're beautiful, and I'll catch you in the next one.